All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the 17th of August. Okay, it's my son's birthday today. My second son is
Yay!
today. The one I just went to Pittsburgh with, Amanda, the one I just got back with at late last night. All worth it, of course. But with me today, as always, is Amanda. I won't say Franchi, I'll say Amanda Lopez. Okay, from the Summerlin, also St. Rose, but mostly SBC now. Welcome, Amanda. How are you this fine and glorious day?
Wonderful, wonderful. How many games did you hit this weekend?
3, Friday night,
Awesome.
Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon.
Awesome. Love
Yes,
it.
It was great.
I love
Pittsburgh's
it.
a nice little city. Their park is wonderful, too.
Cool. Yay. Welcome back. I had planned to talk about the market a bit, and at first I had arranged some numbers, which I'll still share, for the Vegas real estate market, and then I remembered that we are tri-state, so I don't want to only talk about Vegas. I do have a question, though, and thank you for having me on as your maybe quarterly featured guest. I appreciate it.
Yes, I love having you.
The route I want to go is for agents to stop waiting for the market to change and to change how you work it. And my favorite part is towards the end, which is my lightning round, which I've become completely obsessed with, and I will rattle through a bunch of questions for you.
And I'm going to need a very bad joke at the end, which I've already got queued up, so we're good. All right, cool.
Good. Same. I wonder whose is worse. We'll see. So real quick, I want to ask you how different the Vegas/Henderson or Nevada market is compared to California and Arizona.
Well, okay, that's a great question that we were just talking about this morning on my second call. With the, I have 4 great guys on that call: Tim Dunn, Stan Abraham, Brad Cooper. Wow, Brad Carver.
Wow.
We just added to the group, and then also Omar Gafar from California. So, and they were we were talking about that because California market is the best of the 3, I would say, and then Vegas is probably a little slightly better, although I think Arizona's caught up. So I would say they're about the same. Meaning that if you take a property at or below the average sell price at the right price, it's gone quickly. And if you're trying to push the issue price-wise, it sticks around. So it's really that simple. It's a market where in California they have probably 2 months active inventory, and Arizona and Nevada has about 4 or slightly better than 4 months, which puts it, a normal market slightly leaning towards the sellers. We're in California, mostly leaning towards the sellers,
Mostly, okay. So I'm going to give just a few stats for Vegas. This is not a today stat. This is for July, because I think it's helpful to look at a 30-day snapshot. And perhaps this could let others know, since 40% of our buyers are from California, maybe people on the call or listening later from California can hear what's going on in Vegas, and same with Arizona, because it seems like we have a lot of referrals going back and forth. In July, we had 1,507 homes that went under contract. And basically that means that over 3,000 people decided that July was a great time to buy or sell, and which is a great number. The days on market has gone down a little bit. They were at 89 days. Now we're at about 70. So if anyone so that's a couple months. Unless it's priced super well and it's in really demand area, it could sell over the weekend. But right now, if anyone has a seller in Vegas and it's just been on the market for a short time and it's priced right, then you might need to hold out for a little bit longer. Our inventory here is at about 7,400 homes. I'm just talking about single family. I'm not including anything else. And that went up a little bit. Inventory went up a little bit, but again, I mean, we're holding strong on listings. And half of that inventory, 3,300 homes, hit the market in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then our prices here, and I'd love to compare to Arizona and California, our average price is about 600,015, so 615,000. And I'm sure it's double that in California, and it really depends on the area, right?
Just about double that in Orange County. It's probably a little bit higher in the desert of California, and Arizona is slightly higher, probably around 850.
Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, wow. So here, a little indicator, like our home values are literally 82% higher than they were at the beginning of COVID. 82% higher. So we're strong on values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the properties have almost doubled since COVID. And then if you bought the house in 2015 or 16, you know, it went up about 50% in that period too. So, you know, if you own a house for 10 years or more in Vegas, it's tripled in value, basically.
Isn't it amazing?
When I started with the company 12 years ago, the average sale price was $125,000. You just said it was 600. So
can you believe that?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's amazing.
Crazy. So we're just used to it going up so fast and get used to it, just like getting used to having those low interest rates. And I agree with you. You can't focus on the rates. Matter of fact, my video this morning was, okay, how are you in the self-worth department? Because to me, we know that the pain, and it's really not, I say pain, but it's really not that much pain. The pain of doing your job every day, talking to people, filling the pipeline, is so much easier than the pain of regret of not doing it and settling for less and so forth. So to me, I find that the people that aren't doing it, it's not because they're lazy. It's because they need to give themselves a raise in the self-worth department. They need to increase their self-confidence, not cockiness, not arrogance. Just, you know what? I'm a dynamite good agent. I deserve this. All these people out there should get to work with me. You know, that's the kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And if you have that attitude, then you have no problem doing your job.
And I mean, the folks with our company, they are great advocates for their clients. Like, folks are lucky to have our agents as their representative. And it's theirs for the taking if they will separate themselves, you know, and be the professional. And but knowledge matters, and that's why our resources in the company can help equip these agents with knowledge along with our partners. I think in all offices we have, you know, our lending partners and our title and escrow partners who can help equip us with knowledge. And then we have our leadership that is constantly feeding us with knowledge. So knowledge matters, pricing matters. That's another like summary of this market. Pricing matters. You know, in a time when it's a seller's market, sometimes pricing doesn't matter, but it matters. Communication matters. I'm telling you, as a manager, one of the biggest complaints, which I don't hear a lot, if I do though, it's, oh, I didn't hear from my agent, right? Communication. Even if you don't have much to say, reaching out every week with an update of some sort. And the communication is huge. It takes the guesswork out of it. When folks aren't communicated to, they don't know what the heck's going on, and they're going to create their own perception, you know. Being able to interpret the stats matters. So get with your managers or your Coach Rick. If you don't understand what a stat means, so that you can communicate it effectively. Because anyone can sell homes when it's a frenzy. Well, it's not a frenzy. This is where, in a balanced market, which I'm going to call it a balanced market, professionals can thrive. And that's what we want to help all of you be, right?
Well, the thing is, and I agree 100% with you. The thing is that well, if the rates come down, your job will be easier. But all these people leaving the business would be staying too, so you'd have more competition. So
I know.
The longer it stays like a balanced market, and you know, don't get me wrong, not great for the company, but as the individual agent, fabulous, right? Because
exactly.
Right. So
they won't
listen to my. Go ahead.
They won't listen to you.
No, I'm talking about, I was going to say NAR. NAR, when I was on, I always thought, and I was so naive, and I heard this from Mike, actually, Mike Ferry, but if you triple the dues, right, you wouldn't, even if you double the dues, I'm talking about NAR now, you would really thin out. I mean, do you think we would lose half the people? I don't think so. I think we'd lose maybe a third.
We'd lose some.
Dues, but the people, but so my point is they're not going to lose money. They're going to actually make money, I think.
Right.
But they thought, they looked at me like I was, because they're a subscription-based, based people join and pay, and almost 60% of agents in MLS in Las Vegas, LVR, didn't sell a home last year, but they're paying the dues.
Yeah, I know. Yep, it's like the gym. They get their dues. Who cares if the people come and visit the place?
Right. Matter of fact, they almost prefer you don't.
Yeah, they really would like you to not. So let's talk about what your coaching clients across all three markets, what they're seeing in the market. What are some of your coaching clients saying that sellers are saying?
Well, sellers are, some sellers still think it's 2020 or 21, right? It's not, right? So, to me, it's all about when did they buy the home. The longer they've owned it, the easier they are to work with, right? And we even have a couple of short sales going on right now, because if you bought in 2020 or 2021, right now, in order to sell with the expense, with some people, are actually, short selling. If you put the minimum down and you bought it in the last few, right? So we have a little bit of that going on, and people get lazy. They just get lazy. They do. So what I'm hearing is, let's go Orange County. Orange County, if you're below 1.3 million and it's priced right, it's gone. Vegas, if you're in that 600 or lower range and it's even close to the right price, it's gone. Same with Arizona, below 700 or so, 800, right? And then when you get above the average sale price, it becomes even more important that your price is right. Right? Because a lot of people are waiting for, I don't agree with them. I think they're crazy. And we have a whole bunch of people out there that are renting that should buy that aren't, because they're waiting for the rates to come down, which when the rates come down, we know exactly what's going to happen because we're still tight on inventory. We're going to go through, every good listing is going to have 3-4 offers. They're going to be fighting for it. If I'm a buyer right now, I'm saying, you know what? Now is a great time to buy. If I'm renting and I don't own my primary residence and I can buy, you're crazy. You're just out of your mind, lunatic, because you're penalizing yourself, right, instead of taking this as an advantage that it is.
So back to the sellers, I'm going to jump ahead to seller reality check. How important is pricing correctly from day one, in your opinion, and your experience?
I think it's the most important thing. I mean, look, if you list with us, we have incredible amounts of marketing. We're all over the world as far as websites and so forth. We have MLS. We have all of that stuff, right? So when your property comes on, you have a certain amount of time to make a first impression, and you want that immediate splash because of the people waiting for new homes to come on that haven't bought yet. They're the most educated as far as price. You want them to be turned on immediately, and hopefully 2 or 3 people get turned on. So I would look at my comps to justify appraised value, but I would look even more so at my competition and price mine at a better price for more features and benefits. So you could have 3 or 4, and then there's still properties getting multiple offers today, right? So
I know there are. Yep,
it's
there
not
are.
good when you're pricing your home. It's not.
Greed. When is greed good? Well, I guess greed could be good in other situations.
Only in the movies.
So based on what we know about the market right now, I believe that it still rings true. When it comes to a price adjustment, right? First of all, the conversation ought to have started at the listing appointment. That's my opinion. And planting the seed, look, if after 2 weeks, I still believe 2 weeks is a good, hey, if we don't have any showings, and let alone any offers, it's time for a price improvement, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it a price improvement instead of a price decrease. So when are you suggesting that an agent recommend a price adjustment?
It depends on what price listing you have, but if you're at the average or lower, I would say 2 weeks. If you're in the million or above, for Nevada and Arizona, that's probably $1.5 million. And for, Orange County, that's probably $2 million. For the desert of California, it's probably $1 million, $1.2 million. You probably every 30 days, but no more than that. And once again, you're better off spending time. As you know, I teach at Success Series, that when someone has decided to use you, meaning they sign a contract, I would take every swing I can at the listing presentation to get the right price. If I just can't get it, they want to use me, and we've agreed on, we do all the paperwork, we sign. Before I leave, I take one more swing at the price. And then if I get them to do it, then I change the contract. Because I would rather, irritate them slightly on the, it's like you go to the doctors and you have something growing inside of you. They don't say, I don't want to ruin his day. I'm not going to tell him. No, you ruin their day and say, here's what we're going to do. That's what you have to do to be, to be fulfilling your fiduciary responsibility. So I would say it's that important that you go on the right price. Now, if they just want to do the 1985 program, that's what I call it, right? Oh, we can always start high and come down. Then you want to get at least 1 or 2 price reductions signed at the listing presentation.
Signed. I want to plant that seed. We call them change orders here with LVR, multiple listing service change orders, and get them signed ahead of time. They can be dated for 2 weeks from today. If we don't have any offers and no showings, or if we have showings but no offers, we're willing to try it at your price for 2 weeks. And if in fact it's still available, then this authorizes me to go ahead and improve the price by blank amount, and then you get it pre-signed. And then you get another one for 2 weeks later, or whatever your increments are, depending on the price point. So plant the seed, have the conversation, don't be afraid of it, and then you have the authority to change the price if needed. I hope you don't need to. I hope it goes under contract within a day.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention about price is don't own the price. Don't say a price.
No.
Because as soon as you say a price, your ego will defend it until death. You need to walk them through the CMA, right? I always start with solds that justifies appraised value. Then I walk them through the competition. That's what they're actually going to be competing with. And I say to them, now that you've seen all this, you tell me, what price should we put your home on the market for to cause everybody to want to see yours and sell and buy yours versus the competition? It's such an easy statement that works incredibly good. All right, so
love it.
It's a lot of them go in there and they preach the CMA and based on my expertise and extreme knowledge, and they give them a price. No, ask them. And that's another point too. Ask them everything. Don't tell them anything. Ask them.
No, give them information, and then they can make the decision. You can equip them with resources and information and numbers, and then they get to decide based on that information, and you're just the messenger of the market anyway. Right.
Bingo.
All right.
Bingo.
So we've talked some about sellers. Yes, but I have some more questions for you.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. I had a question for you.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, you deal with agents all the time, too. Have I forgotten anything? Do you want to add anything to that list I just gave of the price and what to do? Is there anything that jumps out at you?
Yes, and it's jumped out at me since 2001 when I got in the market. And I probably sound like a broken record. It goes back to the seller's motivation. What is the seller's motivation? That's my first question with anybody. And I want to know where they got, what is their source of this business? I always like to track source. And motivation, why do they have to sell? Oh, Amanda, they don't have to sell. Great. So really digging into how important, and equipping the agents with those questions. How important is it, Mr. Berube, that you get your home sold in the next 60 days? And really asking how important is it, are both husband and wife on board? What's the wife's motivation? What's the husband's motivation? So back to, I hope everyone we're working with has to sell or has to buy. They're marrying, they're divorcing, they're expanding their family, someone passed away, they're getting older, they need a single story, they don't like where they live, and they really want a different lifestyle change. They have to sell to get money out to go pay for college or to pay for a boat or to, like, really, you got to know that stuff. And if you don't know, find a way to ask. When you go see a doctor, no matter what, even if you've been there, sometimes you still have to fill out 4 to 7 pages of paperwork about you. So you're a doctor in real estate. What questions are you asking, which we give you all the pre-qualifying questions. How are you digging deeper into how important it is for a seller to sell? So I'm always digging into that. And you know what? I have a couple agents where we don't know why the listing hasn't sold. So their homework, first of all, we look at making sure it's accessible. So not only is it price, it needs to be a number 1 or number 2 choice in terms of price in whatever else a buyer can get in that area, and condition, making sure it's in condition that is the number 1 or number 2 choice. So I had one of our agents from SCC, he was tasked with going to go look at the competition, drive around, go look at the new builds, go find out what the incentives are, what is your competition, in the eyes of a buyer, what else can you get? So, yeah, and then we want to make sure that it's very pleasing on the MLS, like is all of the marketing allowed? Is it easily accessible? One of the agents had a listing and it was like, do not enter. It was like,
yeah,
but
that's never good.
But it was vacant and they just hadn't updated the access, the accessibility to the home. I'm like, y'all, you got to make it easy for someone to want to show it. If someone tells me I have to, book it 2 days in advance and it's not on lockbox, I don't know, I might forget about it. I'll show it to my buyer, but my buyer's only in town for 1 day. We may not get to it. So you really want to make sure that it says yes or a Y next to internet, that it says yes next to most things, which again, the MLS is just for marketing purposes. It's not contractual, but that it shows that it's very easy to show, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah. And the same thing is, it's all about price. I mean, it isn't all about price, but it's so critical. What are some of your agents saying, your coaching clients saying that buyers are saying? Are they, again, we've already talked about interest rates. Are you hearing anything else that that buyers are saying to their agents?
Well, I personally believe you got to leave, the mind bomb, I call it, the mind bomb, which is if they're one of these people waiting for the interest rates to come down, you show them how a 2-step process right now. Sellers are paying, for the contributing with closing costs. They may even do a buy down and closing costs there, so you can get that right now. And then when the rates come down, refinance, right? So that, I think you make it a 2-step process. Now, the sellers that won't do that right away, all right, at least you've laid that mind bomb.
You mean the buyers?
About it, right?
Like they won't buy right away?
Sorry. Yeah, the buyers, I'm sorry. If the buyers won't buy right away, at least you've you've explained that to them and they're thinking about it, right? So that's a very important part, I think, too. So I think if you're having that conversation, and then once again, like you just said, motivation-wise, if they don't understand that it's a great time right now and they're going to wait for the rates to come down, well, you stay in touch with them and you give them information,
right.
You let them drive around and you put them on a drip. But the ones that are ready to go, whatever it is, you have an open house, maybe 1 in 5 that comes out, ready to go right away.
Right.
Well, you give those people, you take, just like with a listing, you take over, right, in a nice professional way, but that's what they're paying you for, right? You don't let them tell you when it's going to be shown. You say, no. You want to sell this? It has to be shown. It's not going to, now if you get the right price, it's not going to last long, but the property has to be available. Okay. Buyers, if you want to buy right now, it won't last long, but you need to be available. All right. And we'll help you get a house. Now, the ones that want to buy love that. And the ones that don't want to buy, are pushed off a little bit by that. And it's okay.
And that's it. That's okay.
Yeah.
People need to understand that even if a buyer qualifies, right? Oh, they have all the cash, or they can completely get a loan. That still isn't motivation. They have to buy, or they desperately want to buy. Again, all those reasons why people move. I can't believe we're running out of time. So I have one other question before I ask you your lightning round questions. If you were starting over today as an agent, and even if both of us were like where we had to immerse ourselves in generating income from helping buyers and sellers, right? If you were starting all over today as an agent in Las Vegas, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently right now?
Yeah. What would you do compared to like 40 years ago, or I don't know how many, maybe 50 years you've been in the industry? I forget.
41. It'll be 42 in December. Thank you very much.
What would you do differently?
Okay.
And maybe it's nothing different, Rick. It might not be anything different. So what would you do?
The only different, I would still load up. Okay, so remember, like when I started, I had a 1 through 31 accordion file for my CRM. So I would start off, and I would have my CM obviously right. Especially with us, you have no complaints because we have, Girl Scout. I mean, Real Scout. I'm just joking. We have Real Scout. We also have the VAC, right? So I would be
tech,
people
technology.
reports and news. Well, that would be number. So I would do all the same stuff physically, meaning talk to people, fill the pipeline, but my pipeline would be way more organized because it would be people would be on drips and getting things. That's so I would be. Every time I talk to a person, now I've talked to them, they're getting a drip from me. They're seeing me on social media. So there's number two would be I would also expand my reach with social media. But the way I got that started would be the same, whether it be door knocking or on the phone or a combination of both or active open houses. And then I would be, every time I talk to somebody, I'd make sure they're getting digital from me and I'd make sure they're connected with me on social. I mean, that's it. And I just keep doing that every single day by being proactive. That's it.
I love it. I love it. All right. We're doing lightning round Vegas real estate edition. I already know the answers to some of these. I know how you're going to answer. Yes. Overpriced listings, yes or no?
No.
You have to think. New construction or resale?
If I have a buyer, I would discount new construction because it depends on the buyer. But, the rates.
To say yes.
Everything,
to say yes.
Yes, both.
But yeah, there's some smoking incentives with new construction. All right, open houses, yes or no?
Yes, active.
I like it. Cold calling people that you don't know, yes or no?
Yes, but I don't call it cold calling because we have a reason to call it.
I know. You call with a purpose. Social media, must-have or overrated?
Both. It's overrated, but it's a must-have too because you can't rely. Although I say that, and some people do rely on it, but it never works as well as if you're not doing the proactive part.
One thing every every agent should start doing.
Okay, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I just had Success Series last week. Keep track of your daily contact goal every single day for a year. Your life will change.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not done yet. Steak or chicken?
If I had to have one for life, it would be chicken.
Yes.
But my cheat is steak.
Chicken.
Yes.
Okay. Comedy or drama?
Hello. Comedy.
Baseball or football?
Yes. I like them both equally.
Coffee or cocktails?
Coffee. No cocktails for me.
Sweet or salty?
What is it?
Sweet or salty? Chocolate or freaking nachos? Come on.
Chocolate.
Sunrise or sunset?
Oh, my God. Sunrise.
All right. I'll do one more because then we have to go. Weights or cardio?
Weights.
Okay. Tell them your awful, horrific dad joke.
I have to. Okay, why can't T-Rexes clap their hands?
Oh, God, you've already told me this one. Why?
Because they're extinct. How's that? That's
hold on. Why did the Realtor bring a ladder to the listing?
To get a leg up?
Because the comps were through the roof. All right. We got to go.
Those are equally horrific. All right. Thank you very much, Amanda. You're awesome, as always, for taking your time out and joining us. And we did a few participants today, but I know that, I think your last one got about, it got over 1,000 views on YouTube. I know that. So keep rocking it.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry we had to rush through it all. I have more for next time. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you. You're the best.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Murad.
Bye.